Houston for Diamondbacks baseball. Brought to you by Dos Equis. Keep it interessante. Our penultimate road series of this 2018 season. It's a 3-game visit to the Astros. The D-backs 4.5 back in the NL West. And 4 games out of a wild card spot. We're in the final few weeks here, and we are set to go. The Diamondbacks and the Astros on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Minute Maid Park, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way. First of 3, D-backs and Astros. A good pitching matchup for you here tonight. Couple of left-handers. For the Diamondbacks, it's Robbie Ray. Bob, he's given up only 4 runs in his last 4 starts.
Yeah, it seems like Robbie has really hit his stride after coming back off the disabled list. He had that one great start in Miami, then a long dry spell, but he's been throwing the ball extremely well in his last 4 starts. A perfect 2-0 record, a 1.59 ERA, 32 strikeouts, and he's held the opposition to a 1.71 average.
Tonight he's up against a former Cy Young winner. It's Dallas Keuchel who opens up the series for Houston. He's lost only twice since the end of June.
Yeah, he's really turned it around in his last 16 starts, but the overall numbers by Dallas Keuchel standards very pedestrian this year. He's there for the taking for the Diamondbacks offense.
Well, we're up against Dallas in Houston. It's the D-backs and the Astros on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. Visit bjsrestaurants.com to find a location near you. By the NASCAR Can-Am 500 at ISM Raceway, November 9th, 10th, and 11th. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Brought to you by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box. By Dos Equis, keep it interessante. By Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing. Choose Chaz. By 1AZ Credit Union, let's bank together. And by Gila River Hotels and Casino. The Card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for The Card today. We're heading into the final 2 weeks of the season. It's Robbie Ray in Houston. The Rockies are at San Francisco. The Dodgers are in St. Louis. Here it's the D-backs and Astros. Next on Fox Sports Arizona. Closed, rain outside all day today. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, Jody Jackson with you. The first of three, the D-backs and the Astros. Diamondbacks facing Houston for the second time this year. D-backs took 2 of 3 at Chase Field back in the first week of May. A.J. Pollock will lead it off. Here's your D-backs lineup. It's presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
A.J. will be out in center field once again tonight, leading it off. Eduardo Escobar at third base. Paul Goldschmidt at first. David Peralta will be out in left field. A little bit of a switch here. Christian Walker, designated hitter tonight for the Diamondbacks. Torey Lovullo looking to get some more power in that lineup. Steven Souza Jr. will be out in right field. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Cattell Marte at second base. Jeff Mathis will be doing the catching, and left-hander Robbie Ray on the mound.
Diamondbacks last here at Minute Maid Park in August of last season. They split a 2-game set. And here come the Astros, the defending World Series champions, take the field. Your Ram truck starting pitcher for Houston, the lefty Dallas Keuchel. As Bob mentioned a moment ago, the numbers this year a little pedestrian, especially for him. 11-10, a 3.59 ERA. Bit of an up and down season after he won a Cy Young Award 3 years ago.
He's been on a good roll. In his last 16 starts, he's gone 8-2 with an ERA under 3. Dead ground ball pitcher, second in the majors this year in ground ball rate. Only Clayton Richard of the Padres have induced more ground ball outs.
Here's a look around the diamond at the Houston defense tonight, brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Super utility man Marwin Gonzalez out in left field tonight. George Springer in center. Josh Reddick will be over in right field. It'll be Alex Bregman, the red hot Alex Bregman at third base. Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve make up the double play combo, with Yuli Gurriel at first base, Martin Maldonado doing the catching, and lefty Dallas Keuchel on the mound.
Our plate umpire tonight calling the balls and strikes is Scott Berry. Carlos Torres, the first base ump. Mark Carlson at second, and there's the crew chief, Paul Nart. He's at third. Time off for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, we're going to give it a shot anyway. I feel like the offense, everybody needs to expand their vision a little bit. Don't worry about, I need a base hit, I need to drive in this run, I need to do this, I need to do that. What does the team need you to do every at bat? If you start thinking in terms of what you can do to help the team score a run, take some of the pressure off you trying to accomplish something for your own good.
Well, the pressure is certainly on. 4.5 games behind the Rockies' division lead with only 15 to go. If it's going to happen, it's got to start tonight. And A.J. Pollock starts us off at 264 with 17 home runs. Astros put the shift on. Altuve, the second baseman, shaded over on the shortstop side of the bag. And we're underway with strike one. A.J. homered yesterday in Colorado, his first home run since August 19th.
You might as well turn the radar gun off when Dallas Keuchel's on the mound, because it makes no difference to him. He throws in the high 80s. We'll touch 90 from time to time. Everything down, 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 looking for that ground ball.
And Keuchel for years now has been among the most proficient ground ball pitchers in the game. And this year, he generates a ground ball 54% of the time. That is second most of the majors, behind only the Padres' Clayton Richard. He's ahead of A.J. 0-2. There's another one in the dirt.
And as a hitter, when you face a guy like Dallas Keuchel, part of your game plan is see the ball up. If the ball starts mid-thigh or further down, it's going to end up in a ground ball. So make that ball be up mid-thigh or higher before you even think about swinging at it.
Swing and a miss. Starts it off with a strikeout.
Up at 81, just dive bombing off that outside corner to AJ. That almost looked like a right-handed slider coming up there.
He is going to live on that outer half of the plate against some of these righties. Batting right-handed, the switch hitting Eduardo Escobar. 268. He's already tied his career high with those 21 homers. Fastball is there, caught the corner down and away. 0-1. StatCast AI powered by AWS. Same shift for Escobar that A.J. Pollock saw. This ballpark has that very quirky left field. It's a lot like Fenway Park in that regard. You've got the Crawford boxes, those seats right there in that section. Then that odd corner in left center field where the bullpens are behind the garage doors.
And another out-of-town scoreboard out there in front of the Crawford boxes with multiple different surfaces. The ball will react differently depending on where it hits on that big wall out there in left.
A lot of funky angles and walls and a lot of targets to shoot for in this ballpark if you're a power hitter. You would have loved hitting in this ballpark. I think.
This ballpark and Fenway were built for me.
Short left field porch and a lot of targets at which to aim.
I mean, over the years, pitchers have said if you can pitch to the big part of the park here. It's grounded fair down the third baseline. Long throw that time by Bregman. They get Escobar at first.
Which is right center?
Yeah, right center and straight away center. The ball doesn't seem to carry quite as well in that direction as you get a look at that rollover grounder to third. Bregman ends up standing in foul territory but reaching back into fair territory to make the play.
Well, we saw him in the postseason last year play some sensational defense at third base. I think somebody decided that was a foul ball. Escobar is still up there.
Well, that's good.
No one signaled foul at any point, but we'll keep going. Full count, 3-2 on the scoreboard. Escobar does it again. There was nothing from Scott Berry behind the plate, nothing from Paul Nart, the crew chief at third. Even Escobar thought he was out there. This is along the right field line. Gurriel gives it a look, but it's out of play.
You know, partner, you talked about Dallas Keuchel's normal MO just to work away with movement even farther away from all these right-handed hitters. It kind of reminds me a little of the days of Tom Glavine down in Atlanta. Tommy Glavine, once he wired in that outside corner to a right-hander, he would just stay out there even farther away from that outside corner as long as he was getting the called strikes. One way to combat that is to stick a lefty or two in the lineup.
Well, Escobar winds up working a walk. He's aboard with 1 out for Goldie. How would that help?
Well, you put a lefty up there, that ball that's down and away from a right-handed hitter is right in the wheelhouse of a left-handed hitter. So now you force Keuchel in this case to push the ball on the other side of the plate. If you get him working to both sides, you have a better chance of him making a mistake than to allow him to get wired in on that outside corner to a righty.
Here's the Houston native back in the old hometown, leading the league in OPS. And Goldie sends one deep to left center field toward the bullpens. Gonzalez can't get there. Escobar being waved home by Tony Perez-Chica. It's stuck in the fence out there. Escobar may have to go back to third.
Yeah, I think that'll be a book rule double there. That ball took one big hop off the warning track and stuck up there between the padding and the chain link fence in front of the bullpen.
Yeah, Gonzalez and Springer out there sort of surrendered as soon as this one hit the wall. Yep, just plopped up there like Spider-Man. So it's a double for Goldie, second and third now, 1 out. Torey Lovello out to talk to the plate umpire Scott Barry and the crew chief Paul Nard. We were just talking about the targets and the unusual angles and quirks of this ballpark.
And that is the quirkiest area of the ballpark for me. I mean, the Crawford boxes are unique and it's a target for right-handed pull hitters, but the way the out-of-town scoreboard goes back to the bullpen, then straight across, and there's a little piece of wall that sticks back out again, and occasionally you'll get some unusual looking base hits like Goldie just got.
I remember, and I want to say it was last year, in that extreme corner where the fielder, if he gets in there deep enough, disappears from our view. It was Chris Herman who made a tremendous leaping catch right in the very furthest nook of that corner right in front of our bullpen. I mean, all kinds of things can go wrong in there if you're the left fielder or even the center fielder.
I'll venture a guess that Torey was trying to make the case that the umpire can use their judgment, and if they felt Escobar would have scored from first base on that play, they might have been able to wave him on home, but apparently Torey didn't get the answer he was looking for.
Chance to bring home 2 with a base hit for David Peralta. It's still stuck in there. David at 295 and 27 home runs. Escobar at third, Goldie at second, 1 out. Just missed up and in with that slider. David had the day off yesterday in Colorado. And a home run at Coors Field in Tuesday's game. Here's your left-hand bat to try and change Keuchel's mojo. Goes away to the lefty and gets the call. Scott Barry said, yes, you offered. It's 2-1.
Did not get the call on that first slider that appeared to catch the inside corner at the top of the zone, but does get the call on this one that appeared to leak off of the outside corner.
Up the middle and throw into center. Escobar scores. Goldie is home, and the Diamondbacks strike first in Houston. It's 2-0. Good start.
Well-placed ground ball. We talked about Keuchel's ability to induce the ground balls, which is all well and good as long as it's hit at a defender. This one goes right back over the mound into center field. That'll score 2. D-backs once again take a first inning lead in the ball game.
RBIs 79 and 80 on the season for Peralta. What a year he's had. And here is the DH, Christian Walker, batting 200 with 2 home runs. And what we were just talking about, a big reason why Walker is in the starting lineup tonight, and speaking with Torey before the ball game, he wants someone in there in case Keuchel does try and live on that outer half against the righties who can drive the ball the other way with power. and that is Christian Walker. So if Keuchel, right where that pitch is right there, if he tries to live down there against Walker, the hope is that he'll be able to drive it out, maybe even for a home run to right. Just try and keep him honest in that regard. This is a bullet down the left field line, and the seats it out of play. A hanging changeup that time from Keuchel. 1-2. Christian grounded out twice and flied out in 3 pinch hit at bats in the Rockies series. Gets the start here today. Already a 20 pitch first. He's only recorded 1 out. And he strikes out Walker, his second strikeout. 2 down. Here's Souza. Steven Souza Jr., the right fielder tonight, hitting .232 with 4 homers. Altuve almost right behind second base umpire Mark Carlson, playing up the middle against Souza. Gurriel holding Peralta on the bag at first. There's ball 1. Keuchel sinker a little low. Steven had a couple of hits yesterday at Colorado. He tripled and scored a run. All that room on the right hand side for him. Scott Barry's giving him just about everything just off the plate here so far. A lot of movement on those pitches. Martin Maldonado behind the plate. Check swing foul, and it's 1-2.
That appeared to be the cut fastball that time. You'll see a sinker slider for the most part from Dallas Keuchel, but he'll cut the fastball in on the righties. Occasionally he'll try a 4-seamer up in the zone. But back in the day in the advanced scouting reports, Keuchel is a sinker slider guy. That's the easiest description you can give.
Trying to come into the righty there, just missed. 2-2. It'll be interesting to see how often Keuchel does that against these D-backs right-handers. Nick Ahmed on deck. Just got a piece of the 2-2. Keuchel comes in again. Yesterday at Coors Field, hopefully a good sign for Steven. He hit the ball hard. They'll need to get him going over these final 2 weeks. He is 3 for 29 in September. Peralta's at first. 2 outs. Trying to go away again after coming in. Missed outside, and it's full 3-2. Long first for Keuchel, approaching 30 pitches. Gurriel still holding Peralta on the base at first. There goes David, and that one is upstairs. It's ball 4, his second walk in the inning. 2 on and 2 out for Nick Ahmed. Good at bat there by Souza. Maldonado out to pay a visit.
Especially after you have an excuse me check swing foul ball earlier in the at bat, and then still to be able to come back and work the base on balls. Nicely going. Nicely done.
See if Nick can take advantage. There's A.J. Hinch, former D-back skipper. Nick at .245, he's got 16 homers. I'd like to see him poke one into those Crawford boxes in this ballpark the way that he's tried to pull the ball this year. He's got a big target out there.
And he's been a real good low ball hitter this season, which should be a nice matchup for him against Keuchel tonight.
This is low. Keuchel not especially sharp so far tonight. Although he has pitched much better in the first half of this year, in the second half of the season, than he did in the first. Had a no decision in his last start. That was Sunday at Boston. Got hit kind of hard by the Red Sox. 5 runs, 9 hits. He went 6 innings. Nick drives one deep to right field. Reddick is at the track, and he's got it. Diamondbacks strand 2, but they strike first. A 2-0 lead for Robbie Ray. Ray. Now just over 100 innings for the year, and he has pitched very well recently, putting up just 4 runs total in his last 4 starts.
Now going back even a little farther, 6 of his last 7 games started, he's allowed 2 or fewer runs, including last time out against the Braves. Solid outing, 6 innings, gave up only 2 hits and 2 runs in that game.
Always got to watch out for the leadoff home run from George Springer, who starts it off for the Astros. 6 leadoff homers this year, 23 in the last 3 years. There's his strike. Springer, 261. He's got 20 homers overall this year. Former UConn teammate of the shortstop Nick Ahmed. They played together in Storrs, Connecticut. Fastball up and away, arm side, 1-1. Springer is hot right now, 15 hits in his last 9 games. Fastball sailing out there to start. Robbie's got to get that under control.
We've talked about that in Robbie Ray's starts past. Usually it's a pretty good indicator early on if he's able to drive that fastball back into the zone. If he leaves it up arm side, up and away from right-handed hitters, that's a red flag.
Hitters count here, 2 balls and a strike. Drop that breaking ball in there, and it's 2-2. Robbie only 2 career starts in this ballpark, 0-1 here. He's not had a lot of luck. 7 runs, 13 hits allowed in 10 innings of work. Nick can't quite get it. It drops in for a base hit, and Springer's aboard. Here's the Houston batting order. That's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Center fielder George Springer just let it off for the Astros. Jose Altuve, the second baseman, making his way to the plate. Alex Bregman, the third baseman. Yuli Gurriel, the first baseman. Carlos Correa will be at shortstop. Tyler White is the designated hitter tonight, with Marwin Gonzalez in left field. Martin Maldonado doing the catching. Josh Reddick out in right field. And lefty Dallas Keuchel on the mound.
Jose Altuve, the reigning American League MVP. He is 4th in the league in hitting right now with .318, 12 homers. Robbie just kind of testing the outer edge of that strike zone against these righties with that curveball. Altuve begins the series heating up. He's on a 6-game hit streak. He has homered in 2 of his last 3 games. There it is again. That one is in there for a strike and a 21. Altuve's power numbers are down a bit. He's missed some time with a right knee problem recently. Springer holding in first. Another breaking ball away. That one misses down, and it's 2-1. Inside. Boy, if he can bury that fastball in there on these righties, he'll have a good night. Missed that time, and he's behind 3-1 with a dangerous Alex Bregman on deck. That guy is having a monster second half of the year. Goldie holding Springer on the bag at first. Springer holds over there, and Robbie misses away with a fastball. A single and a walk started off for the Astros. Here's a look around the Diamondback defense, brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelry.
A.J. Pollock once again out in center field. David Peralta in left. Steven Souza Jr. in right field. It'll be Eduardo Escobar and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Ketel Marte, Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Jeff Mathis behind the plate for lefty Robbie Ray.
Well, Alex Bregman having a big year. The third baseman. 296. He's already got 30 home runs and 100 RBIs, not to mention 50 doubles. Boy, put that fastball right on the corner and did not get the call. Bregman 2 hits, 3 RBIs in Houston's win at Detroit on Wednesday. The Astros were off yesterday. Pretty impressive numbers for a guy who just turned 24 earlier this year. Throw over there to second. Springer's back in town. Alex Bregman has reached base in 39 consecutive games. That's the longest active streak in the major leagues. Again, trying to breaking balls away to the righties, keeps missing, and it's 2-0. Robbie has thrown 12 pitches, only 4 of them strikes. This is away again, and it's 3-0. Gurriel on deck, the cleanup man. Away with a fastball. Bregman takes, and they're loaded with nobody out.
One thing to note there, even though he took that for ball 4, he was ready to hit it. I'm sure that A.J. Hinch gives most of these hitters in this Astros lineup the green light, 3-0, if it's a pitch to their liking.
Well, Robbie, handed a 2-0 lead, has immediately loaded the bases without retiring a batter. Here comes Mike Butcher. Time for our Sun State Technology Group postseason update. This is where things stand right now for the Diamondbacks. Rockies lead the NL West by a game and a half over the Dodgers. Their lead against these D-backs, 4.5. Diamondbacks now closer in the wild card than in the division. The Rockies later tonight open a series against the Giants at San Francisco as they begin a long road trip. Dodgers are at St. Louis tonight.
Dodgers-Cardinals game scoreless through 1. We'll keep an eye on all the out-of-town scores that are important to the Diamondbacks.
Yuli Gurriel. This pitch is a fastball in. Gurriel in the cleanup spot, hitting .277. He's got 10 home runs. That one bounces through into left field. Springer scores the first Houston run. And the first 4 have reached against Robbie Ray.
Well-placed grounder that time. Slider working its way back toward the middle of the plate. And Gurriel bangs it through that left side. You mentioned like the green monster in Fenway here with the Crawford boxes. Also makes it very hard to score on a base hit to left field. My left fielder is playing so close to the infield, it's really hard to score from second base on a base hit to left here.
That's just .315 down the left field line. Carlos Correa, the shortstop, having a difficult season. He's been bothered by back problems. .239 and 14 home runs. He swings at the first pitch, got a fastball and missed it 0-1. Correa has struggled. He's hitting only .163 since he came off the DL on August 10th with that back trouble. Really not hitting the ball hard at all this year.
One thing he has done well this year, 11 sacrifice flies. That's tied for 5th in club history.
There's that breaking ball away to the right-hander. Sliders a strike and it's 0-2. Hard to imagine anyone getting a lot of sacrifice flies to left field in this ballpark because of the reason you just mentioned.
Yeah, you'd have to run that left fielder right back against the out-of-town scoreboard or around that corner that we showed you earlier. But any routine fly ball to left field, it's going to be tough to tag and score. And as I mentioned, a base hit in the left, going to be tough to score from second.
And then you get into the ball into some of these gaps in left center, right center. Suddenly there's tons of room out there. 409 to straightaway center. One and two. Nick Ahmed. Marte for 1. And a turn the double play as Altuve comes in. And we are tied at 2.
Sounded like Correa might have hit that ball off the end of the bat a little bit. But the Diamondbacks able to turn it. Nick gets rid of it quickly as usual, giving Marte enough time to load up and fire onto first base just in time for the out.
So now you've got a 2-2 ball game. Bregman's at third. 2 outs. Here's the DH Tyler White, who's hitting .303 with 12 homers. He's really come on here since the All-Star break. With a right-hand bat in there against the lefty for A.J. Hinch. He's kind of a somewhat smaller version of Evan Gattis.
I was just thinking the same thing.
They have very similar batting stances and similar facial hair.
Looked like he was able to check that time. Yeah, all 12 of his homers, all 38 of his runs driven in have been in the last 40 ball games.
He's been a very consistent starter and hitter for Houston since the All-Star break. Keep plugging him in there. He keeps getting base hits. There's his strike, 1-1. This guy was a 33rd round pick out of Western Carolina. He didn't even get a Division I college scholarship. He walked on at Western Carolina. But now here he is starting for the defending World Series champs. He's got plenty of power. Fastball fouled away. It's 1-2. I would say, all things considered against this lineup, bases loaded, no outs. 2 runs is not the worst thing ever if you can get White right here.
Just minimize the damage. This is a lineup that can hurt you top to bottom.
This is out to right field for Steven Souza Jr. Astros get 2 after 1. We're all even.
An update on a couple of injuries to a couple of pitchers on this D-back staff. First, TJ McFarland, the reliever. He had some inflammation in the elbow. Good news there, the MRI didn't show anything with the UCL. It's a bone spur, and he's going to try to work through that, guys. He's going to try to be able to come back this season. We'll see how it goes. Clay Buchholz, though, we know that he left that game yesterday, actually did not make it out on the mound. He felt it in the pen. The MRI did show a flexor strain. There's no prognosis right now past that. We're going to talk to Clay. He's on his way here to Houston, and we will speak to him after the game. But there is a concern because that's an injury he dealt with last year, guys. Troy Lavello said he hasn't heard anything. He hasn't heard the word surgery. Doesn't really know anything yet, but it is a flexor strain for starter Clay Buchholz. They'll need someone to start on Tuesday.
Maybe Matt Cook again, who had that emergency start yesterday, Jody, as Marte lines out to Reddick to start the second. The concern with Clay is, and as Jody mentioned, they had found that the flexor strain injury he suffered last year and had surgery on in April, and had actually the bone had torn away from the elbow, and it got very complicated for Clay. So that's a recurrence of that same injury, which has to be concerning. Here's Jeff Mathis. There's a tear in the forearm.
Well, it goes without saying. That's extremely unfortunate for the Diamondbacks and for Clay Buchholz. I mean, you talk about a guy that came from nowhere to one single-handedly saved this pitching staff. He came in there and just put one good start after another up on the board at a time when the D-backs really needed it.
Bregman at third. He's become one of the best in the business down there. The former LSU Tiger.
Two-hopper behind the bag. He goes into foul territory and throws on the move across his body in time to get Jeff Mathis by a wide margin at first base that time.
AJ struck out to lead off the ball game. Bounces towards second. Pollock reaches, and they'll check on their starting pitcher out there. Boy, that one hit off him and bounced high up in the air. That's a base hit for Pollock.
Stays right on that tailing fastball away. Keuchel on the back of the left shoulder, maybe on the left side of his upper back.
Seems to be just fine, thankfully.
You see guys smiling around the mound, that usually means somebody said something funny. Right? Good thing it didn't hit you in the face or something, you know, some smart aleck thing, and everybody has a little laugh about it. And now Keuchel's going to take a few warm-up pitches, and I'm sure he'll declare himself good to go.
Well, if you're Houston or any division leader, that's your big fear at this point in the season. Astros at 92 wins, which is second most in all of baseball, behind only the Red Sox. They're 3.5 up on Oakland atop the AL West. That's the last thing they need right now. Escobar walked and scored in the first.
Oakland tied with Tampa Bay in the 5th inning, 1-1.
Yeah, you got to add the innings. It's annoying. Try the breaking ball away and missed. Escobar 0 for 4 yesterday, and the homer Wednesday at Coors Field.
I mentioned earlier in the ballgame that Keuchel will throw the occasional cut fastball in on the hands of a right-handed hitter, but he does it so infrequently. It reminds me of Tom Glavine once again. If you talk to hitters back in the day, well, what's Glavine throw? Oh, he'll cut that ball in on your hands.
That's a launch foul.
But then you go back and look at the game films, and he only threw 2 cut fastballs inside to a right-handed hitter all night long, the entire lineup. But it had such an effect that that's all guys could talk about. He'll cut it in on your hands. Yeah, twice a game.
Well, that was the cutter right there. 2 outs, AJ at first, 1 and 2 on Escobar. Dallas Keuchel has excelled at hitting his spots this season. We've got some of the pitching metrics, and his command rates as just about the best in baseball in terms of hitting the catcher's mitt where it sets up as the target. He can throw it right to the glove. Bregman one more time at third. Bottom 2 from Houston on the way. D-backs and Astros tied at 2. Now it's time for Lowe's. Whole team together. Starters ERA since the All-Star game. Diamondbacks the best of the major leagues. All National League teams in the top 5 spots. And Robbie handed a 2-0 lead, gave up 2 in the home half of the first, and now Gonzalez starts off the second. Skied up among the ceiling tiles. Ahmed calls off Escobar. Here's the Houston catcher, Martin Maldonado. We saw him earlier this year in Anaheim. He's hitting .224 and 9 homers. Houston acquired Maldonado from the Angels at the trade deadline for a minor leaguer and some bonus slot money for international signees. A Gold Glove winner behind the plate last year. Maldonado, we used to see him as a Milwaukee Brewer for a while. There's a strike. Only played 1 full season with the Angels. He spent 6 years with the Brewers. Brian McCann, their veteran catcher, has been injured much of the year. That's a great spot for that fastball. Robbie was missing up arm side in the first. If he can bury that fastball in like that to these righties, he'll have a lot more luck.
Yeah, the Astros have a number of right-handed hitters that really dive in toward that inside corner of the plate. You can see Maldonado starting with a slightly open stance, but that left foot will close up as Robbie delivers the ball.
And then gets him to swing and miss on the slider. First strikeout for Robbie Ray.
Can use a short pitch inning here to get back on track in this ball game. Carved up Martin Maldonado pretty good right there. It's a fastball down the middle to start the sequence, up and in for strike 2, and then a slider down below the zone. Our nationwide vision center's eye on the game. That's the way to do it.
You throw that fastball for strikes, and they have to respect that slider. Here's Reddick batting 9th, the right fielder. D-backs have 3 defenders on the first base side. Another fastball is a strike. Josh Reddick, .239 and 13 home runs. Escobar all by himself near third. This is popped up. Escobar's the only guy over there. A nice, quick 6-pitch second for Robbie Ray. We are tied at 2. Well, hopefully Robbie Ray settling in. 6 pitches, all strikes in that second. During next Wednesday's D-backs Cubs game, your chance to give back to the community with the D-backs in Fox Sports Arizona. A limited number of these one-of-a-kind prints autographed by every member of the Diamondbacks 20th anniversary all-time team will be available for purchase. Tune in at 6 for details and help support the Arizona Diamondbacks Foundation. That, of course, as Goldie leads off the third against Dallas Keuchel. I mean, to say those are unbelievably rare items to have, I mean, that's a massive understatement. Signed by every single person, including my partner here, who was a member of that 20th anniversary team. I know you were signing hundreds and hundreds of those over and over and over.
500 of them, yeah. It took a little bit over an hour. Some guys took considerably longer. Some took considerably less.
This is bounced into the shift. Correa, the shortstop, has it. Yes, they are only 550 prints. There's only 550 of these, all signed on the planet. All signed by members of the 20th anniversary team, as well as the artist, who also hand signed and numbered each individual print. 550. They are 20 by 24. What an item that is, and that's coming up in our annual Arizona Diamondbacks Foundation Fox Sports Arizona D-backs Give Back broadcast fundraiser coming up next week.
Boy, a tip of the cap to whatever departments were involved. I know the marketing department, the media relations department was involved with that to try to coordinate all those players from the 20th anniversary team just over the course of the weekend they were in town. And get guys in there to sign their autographs. As I said, it took an hour, 2 hours. Some guys took almost 3 hours. But to coordinate all that, get everybody in there at the right time, get them all signed up, ready to go. I mean, quite an effort.
Think about the signatures that you will have on that print. You've got, well, just on this team, you've got Goldie and Corbin and Greinke and Brenly. Throw in Schilling and Johnson and Gonzo all down the list. That is quite an item. So that is coming up next week during next Wednesday's broadcast, D-backs and Cubs. All proceeds from a broadcast fundraiser benefit the Arizona Diamondbacks Foundation, which does tremendous work all over our great state of Arizona. If you want, fans, you can also obtain an unsigned print as part of that broadcast. And we'll have many more details over the course of the next few days. 2-2 on David. He had that 2-run single in the first, but strikes out here in the third. Third strikeout for Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel settling in as well, coming off a 9-pitch second, and he gets the first 2 in the third. I'm going to have to buy one of those. I mean, I'm in. That's an unbelievable item. That's got to hang up in the office someplace.
Yeah, even the one that is not autographed is a beautiful piece of artwork.
Christian Walker is the DH. And what a job that our annual broadcast fundraiser does every year. Since 2001, in fact, our partnership with Fox Sports Arizona has raised more than $2 million. We mentioned earlier Torrey with Walker in at the DH, hoping he can get a pitch on the outer half somewhere from Keuchel and drive it to deep right field. This is hit to shortstop, backhanded by Correa. And Keuchel works a 1, 2, 3 thirds. D-backs and Astros tied at 2. secure seats for the final homestand of the regular season as the D-backs are back in the fight for postseason. It begins Monday. The Cubs are in town, then the Rockies and the Dodgers. Visit dbacks.com. George Springer leads off the Houston third against Robbie Ray, who's coming off a 6-pitch second inning. Robbie has retired 5 in a row. Springer singled and scored to lead it off for the Astros. Both teams tonight 2 runs in the first. Matchup of left-handers. Ray and Keuchel. David Peralta had a 2-run single in the top of the first. Yuli Gurriel had an RBI single in the home half. Astros also got a run on a double play ball. Robbie Ray got out of the bases loaded no-out jam without too much damage, and tied up in the third. There's his strike 1 and 2.
You talk about both teams scoring 2 in the first. It's kind of unusual for the Astros. The first inning is their second lowest inning total for runs this season. A little concerning. Their biggest inning is the 8th.
Well, we've had some problems here lately. The Astros got 2 walks from Robbie Ray in that first inning. The first 4 Houston batters reached. But Robbie settled in after that, got a double play ball and a fly ball to escape further damage. Fastball upstairs. Springer lays off, and it's 2 and 2. Every time you look up, this guy's getting the Diamondbacks. He's a .420 career hitter against the D-backs. George Springer. He's had series. What a fastball by Robbie Ray. We talked earlier about how critical it is for him to get that pitch in there to these righties, and that was perfect.
Got to it well. Tailed a fastball away on the first delivery. Dots the middle of the zone with the second one. A backdoor slider for a called strike. Shows him one up out of the zone, and then just pounds it in there on the inside corner at 95. Our nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
Starting to get into that rhythm, that tempo, that groove that we always talk about with Robbie Ray. You can see it in the body language. Starting to settle in after a bumpy start. There's a breaking ball to Altuve for a strike. He walked and scored his first time. Toward the right field corner. Souza's over there. And it's foul.
Today, after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
0-2 on Jose Altuve. 5'6", 165, but he's got plenty of power. Ahmed from the outfield grass. Here's Alex Bregman.
It's kind of funny this year, partner. I'm sure you've heard the same thing, but as we've traveled around in the past, people always wondered about what's going on with Golden. What's going on with Golden? A lot of people have been asking me about Nick Ahmed. Is he really that good? I said, yes, he is. He should win the Gold Glove this year. We see him every day, and of course, we're a little biased. But yeah, Nick's name is starting to get out there among some of the opposing teams we're playing.
Well, he's been just about the best shortstop in the big leagues all year in terms of defensive runs saved. And the offensive numbers have been way up this year. 16 homers. He's got 30 doubles. Just under 70 RBIs for Nick. Got that fastball in just a bit too far. 1-0. Alex Bregman leads the major leagues with 81 extra base hits. What a year he's had. The backs have 3 infielders on the left-hand side. Escobar, or Marte, the second baseman, right behind the bag. One more time for Nick. Robbie Ray is rolling. He's set down 8 straight. We're tied at 2. Walker Buehler and Jack Flaherty, the pitching matchup. Dodgers in St. Louis. Yasiel Puig, a home run. LA has the early lead, only a game and a half behind Colorado for the NL West lead. Rockies later tonight open up a series against the Giants at San Francisco. As Colorado begins a long road trip, that's Tyler Anderson and Chris Stratton tonight at AT&T Park. Steven Souza Jr. leads off the 4th. He walked his first time up against Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel coming off a quick 1-2-3 third. Keuchel had most of his rougher moments this year early in the season. He's been very good down the stretch for the Astros, as we mentioned. That's one blistered foul. Keuchel since July the 1st in 13 starts has gone 7-2 and pitched to an ERA under 3. So he's looked more like the Cy Young pitcher he was 3 years ago. Certainly looked more like that guy in the second half than the first. Steven, who walked his first time up, has worked the count full 3-2. He's got Ahmed on deck. Souza had a very good at bat the first time up against Keuchel. Had a 3-2 count in that AB as well. A bounce at a shortstop for Carlos Correa. We talked about Keuchel. At rate of ground balls, he is number 2 in baseball, behind only San Diego's Clayton Richard. Gets a ground ball 54% of the time.
Matter of fact, I saw a name here in the media notes for the Astros. Since 1987, that's the year they first started tracking ground ball outs. Keuchel has a 59.7% ground ball rate, trailing only Brandon Webb, Derek Lowe, and Bill Swift all time since they started keeping track of ground ball outs.
Well, 5 of the last 7 outs he's recorded have been ground ball outs. Ahmed flied out to win the first.
You know, we see Joe Madden do all kinds of out of the ordinary things, outside the box thinking. Thinking back to Brandon Webb's career, he would have been the perfect guy to play a 5-man infield all the time.
Nick pokes one out to left center. That gets in there for a base hit. Ahmed trying for a hustle double, and he is in there. Nick Ahmed, a one-out double.
Took a pitch away and jerked it back to that gap in left center field. Springer with a long run, got to it on a hop. But by the time he recovers, gets himself into a position to throw, Nick Ahmed sliding safely into second base with that one-out double.
Good example of what, Bob, you were talking about with this ballpark earlier. You get it out to left center, right center, then suddenly it starts to look more like Chase Field and Coors Field than the small, tiny ballpark that it appears to be when you first look at those Crawford boxes. A lot more room out there than you think.
Now, this is a ballpark where you can conceivably hide a subpar defender in left field. Because of the short porch out there in left, you don't have as much ground to cover, especially if you have a center fielder like George Springer that does cover a lot of ground. You can afford to carry a left fielder just for his bat.
Del Marte flied out his first time. He's off that low pitch from Keuchel. That's a good example of what you were talking about earlier. See it up.
See it up. Don't swing at that pitch. Nothing good can happen unless you're a dead low ball hitter.
Marte just laid off. Now he's ahead 2-0 with Ahmed at second and one out. There's another ground ball. Correa retires Marte. Ahmed moves up 2 outs. Of course, we're in an American League park, so we've got DH. Athos, the catcher, bats ninth. Jeff grounded out his first time.
Expand your vision right here. Just need a little something to get that guy home from third base.
D-backs have out hit the Astros so far 4-2. They've left 3. D-backs facing the Astros for the first time since the first week of May. Houston lost 2 of 3 at Chase Field in that series. D-backs were here last August and split the 2-game set against the Astros. Troy Lavello's ball club 4.5 games behind Colorado with only 15 to play. With 4 back in the wild card. Got the call that time from Scott Berry. Good take by Mathis, but it's 2-2. Boy, that ball is really darting and diving all over the place.
And then Keuchel throws from the far third base side of the rubber to give himself the best possible angle on that pitch coming into the hitting zone, especially when he throws that sinker changeup away from a right-handed hitter.
He's off the changeup that time, and Jeff has worked it full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's where he sets up way over there on the third base side of the rubber. He missed downstairs with a fastball. Mathis works a walk. Third base on balls issued by Keuchel tonight. And AJ will get a chance here. 2 on and 2 out. He lined one off what looked like the back of Keuchel's shoulder his last time up for a base hit. Keuchel was not injured, obviously. But boy, it hit off the shoulder and caromed way up in the ear.
Keuchel is usually a very good defender out there. Just didn't have enough time to react to that line drive off the bat of A.J. Pollock. He's won 3 Gold Glove awards in his career. This is the one we were talking about back in the second inning. A.J.
Just made that thud sort of sound to it. This is hit out to left field. Marwin Gonzalez in front of that little corner out there. Keuchel strands 2. We stay tied at 2. For your chance to buy D-backs postseason tickets before they go on sale to the general public at dbacks.com/postseason. Robbie Ray, after a very rocky start to the bottom of the first, has retired 8 straight Astros hitters. Yuli Gurriel leads off the 4th. Oh, beauty. Got that fastball in there for a strike. Gurriel had an RBI single. He was up in the bottom of the first, bases loaded, no outs. Astros got their 2 runs on Gurriel's single, then a run scored on a Correa double play ball. After Peralta gave the D-backs the early lead, a 2-run single in the top half of the first inning. We're tied at 2. 0-2 on Gurriel. Gurriel just had a 7-game hit streak snapped in their last game, 0 for 4. In a win at Detroit on Wednesday. The Astros were off yesterday. Tonight they're back home, opening up a long homestand. Wild swing by the Cuban. Breaking ball up, and it's 0-2. Houston, their final homestand this year. They'll play 9 games in 10 days. They get the D-backs. And then the Mariners and the Angels come in. Here's A.J. Hinch, his ball club leading the AL West by 3.5 games over the Oakland A's. Robbie Ray gets the strikeout. That's his 3rd of the ball game. He's set down 9 straight.
Well, once again, finishes with the slider, but it's all set up by the first pitch of the at-bat. A fastball, bang, right there on the inside corner, up and in, comes right back to the same location again. Little slider that he left up on the 0-2 pitch, but comes right back with a good one down low in the zone to get the swing and a miss. Our nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
Shortstop Carlos Correa. Here's that curveball. That's been a very good pitch for Robbie lately. Steals strike 1. Correa hit into that 6-4-3 on which a run scored to tie the ball game back in the first. Chases one up there. The curveball and slider starts him off. It's 0-2.
Ball was by him. It was like an afterthought. I better swing at that. That's pretty close. The ball was already by him.
Doesn't buy it on the elevated fastball. Long set of signs for Mathis with nobody on base. Robbie's really pitched well lately. Just one run allowed in his start against Seattle. Then he had wins over the Dodgers and over the Padres. And then the no decision Sunday against the Braves. And he went 6 innings, only gave up 2 hits in that ball game.
I think it's interesting, partner. You pointed out Jeff Mathis going through a sequence of signs with nobody on base. You call it caution, call it paranoia, but we're seeing more and more teams do that. A lot of fans out there in the center field area, both to the right and left of the batter's eye, up on top of the batter's eye. You never know. Somebody has their hat on. It's a fastball. Hat off. It's a changeup.
There's a lot of places to hide out there in center. There's a lot going on since they leveled Tal's Hill out there. That incline that used to be in the field of play they got rid of before last year.
Well, not only the hill, but the flagpole,
which was also in play. Foul straight back. That used to be a feature of this ballpark, Tal's Hill, the infamous incline. They got rid of that, and now they've got the green hitter's background. They put in some field club seating prior to last year. They brought the fences in from 436. It used to be 436 up to the very back of that hill. Now it's 409. And somebody could be, you know, having a beverage or two back there and doing something they shouldn't be. You never know. Everybody's paranoid these days in the age of video. That was Torey Lovello's long discussion with the umpires yesterday in Colorado, if you saw that game. Torey was out there for a long time talking to the umpires about some of the mound visits that the Rockies were going through, changing, he thought, their sequence of signs and using mound visits to do that without being charged or anything. Procedural issue that he wasn't happy about. Full count on Correa, 3-2. Well, Houston has not had a base hit since the Gurriel RBI single in the first. Robbie has retired all 9 he's faced since, but having trouble putting Correa away right here. 10th pitch of the at-bat right now. That was a good one. He worked a walk. 3rd walk issued by Robbie Ray. And here comes the DH, Tyler White. White flied out to end the first inning. Funny start for Robbie tonight in that the first 4 Astros batters reached, and then he sort of found his groove, retired the next 9. Sunday, if you'll recall, against Atlanta, he set down the first 9 batters he faced. Kept the Braves scoreless through 5. But took him 1 inning here tonight to find his sea legs. Behind on White now, 2-0. Only thing you don't like from Robbie lately, the bases on balls. He's walked at least 4 batters 5 times in his last 8 starts. A walk to Correa, now behind on White. Big cut at that slider. 2-1. You mentioned how White looks like Evan Gattis. He seems to have the same approach. He's just up there trying to do the Hulk smash routine.
Hack it like a lumberjack.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay.
It seems funny that Gattis has the nickname, the White Bear.
El Oso Blanco.
Tyler White's last name is White.
Oh, that's you should be running the marketing department. That's good stuff. The fastball in a little too much. Now it's 3-1. Got Marwin Gonzalez on deck. Oh, Robbie was cruising, 9 up, 9 down. Correa really battled, worked a 10-pitch walk. Now 3-1 on the DH.
Jeff Mathis rubs his fingers together before he gives the signs. He looks like a safe cracker getting ready to bust into a bank or something. Watch him next time he gives a sign.
3-2. Correa holds it first, and White pokes it down the line. Foul. They should call him Knuckles or something. Never met a safe he couldn't crack.
It's like he's thinking with his fingers back there as he's waiting to call the sign. He'll look over to the bench, see if Torey Lovullo or Robbie Hammock have any advice on this next delivery. Do you want to pick the first? Do you just want to work on the hitter? And then blows on his fingertips and gets ready to crack the safe.
Hot shooter coming in.
You saw that thumb come out there. That's usually a sign for a pick to first base. Yep.
Correa's been going back toward the base every time Robbie delivers his pitch, so he's not going anywhere. He's had a bad back, as we mentioned. He's only got 2 stolen bases all year. Robbie at 60 pitches, 37 for strikes. So far, he has walked 3 and struck out 3. "3-2. Got him. Kept that slider down just enough, and he gets his 4th strikeout.
It hasn't been consistent for him tonight, but he's thrown some really good ones in 2 strike counts to get big swing and misses from some of these Astros hitters. White way out in front that time.
We saw a fastball all the way.
Yep.
Marwin Gonzalez popped up his first time up, the left fielder tonight. Right to Nick Ahmed at shortstop. They go the short way for the force on Correa. We've played 4 in Houston, tied at 2.
a walk in the first and scored a run, and he was 1 for 18 on the homestand. So going into Colorado, he made some adjustments. He told me he talked with Dave Magadan, the hitting coach, and assistant hitting coach Tim Laker, and worked on a drill to trust his hands. He felt like he was jumping at the ball, and guys, he just felt like he needed to do something a little bit different. But, you know, Bob, when he talks about trusting his hands, and then he had the 5 hits in the first 3 games, so it seems to be working. What does that mean when he's telling me over and over again, I just need to trust my hands?
Well, you know, we talked about it in Colorado, Jody. That series against the Braves, Escobar was falling down in the batter's box. He was swinging so hard, had a lot of lower body involved in his swing, a lot of uppercut in his swing, but got to Colorado and everything was short and quick and very abbreviated swings, letting the ball get deep in the hitting zone. So I think it's just believing that you are quick enough to hit the guy's best fastball without generating speed with your lower body or your shoulders. It's all about your hands.
Did you trust your hands?
I didn't trust any of my body parts.
Escobar has walked and grounded out 0 for 1. He scored on Peralta's 2-run single in the first. This is hit high in the air out to Marwin Gonzalez in left field.
I mean, obviously you have to get your lower body involved into a swing to get the weight transfer you're looking for, to drive into the pitch and get the proper rotation with your upper body to get the bat into the hitting zone. But ultimately it's all about how quickly you get your hands from that set position into the load position and then through the hitting zone.
Well, here's the Houston native. Goldie has doubled, grounded out, and scored a run. Grew up in the Woodlands, Texas, a Houston suburb, very close to where we are right now. Altuve will play on the shortstop side as second, 3 defenders on the left-hand side of the infield. Goldie, growing up, loved the Killer Bees Astros team. That's a Biggio Bagwell group. That was his childhood ball club he grew up rooting for. Both Biggio and Bagwell have their numbers retired here at the ballpark. But Goldie's never hit much here. This is his 13th career game. He's been about a .245 hitter here. He's only homered here 1 time. Michael being very careful. It's 3-0. Peralta, the on-deck hitter, drove in the 2 D-backs runs with that single in the first. There's that sinker. Right back to the 3-time Gold Glover. 2 outs. Hey, fans, bring the whole family out with a D-backs value pack next weekend. When the Rockies come to Chase Field, you can get a game ticket, a hot dog, and a Pepsi, all for only $25. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/value. That'll be the end of a long road trip for Colorado. That starts tonight for the Rockies. They're at San Francisco. Then they go to Dodger Stadium. And then they come to Phoenix. That one bounces through for David, a 2-out single. He's 2 for 3. Big turn, but heads back to the bag at third.
Once again, David finds that hole up the middle of the field. Fastball away. Just pulls it right back over the mound. You can see Correa had just moved a step to his right. Wouldn't have gotten to that ball anyway, but David has found that hole up the middle twice in the ball game in a very aggressive turnaround first. I love that.
You never know when someone's just going to bobble something at the last minute or give you that little glimmer of an opening. DH is Christian Walker 0 for 2.
Lob the ball back into the cutoff man. At least give yourself the opportunity to advance 90 feet by hustling down that first baseline.
Christian lines it to Correa at shortstop. Still tied in Houston.
curious what you enjoy most.
I like the Mesa Amphitheater.
Yeah.
I like the outdoor feel of that, and it's a little cozier than most outdoor amphitheaters. Comerica is amazing to watch a show. Saw Jethro Tull there, as you know, not too long ago.
Favorite local concert venue? This has expanded since you first got here. I'm curious what you enjoy most.
I like the Mesa Amphitheater. I like the outdoor feel of that, and it's a little cozier than most outdoor amphitheaters. Comerica is amazing to watch a show. Saw Jethro Tull there, as you know, not too long ago.
Well, there you go. Martin Maldonado leads off the bottom of the fifth against Robbie Ray. A sneak peek at the season's final episode of the Local 9. Todd visits with our own Bob Brenly, Randy Johnson, John Jay, John Ryan Murphy, finding out their favorite things to do, places to go away from the ballpark. D-backs Local 9, brought to you by CenturyLink, Sunday after the ball game on Fox Sports Arizona. Just a high fastball. Mesa Amphitheater, huh?
Yeah, I've seen some good shows over there. I like outdoor venues.
I know you like Red Rocks.
Oh, that's the best in the world.
There's nothing like communing with nature and Jethro Tull at the same time, I've often said.
Jethro was indoors at Comerica,
oh, okay,
but yeah, I get your point. It's been a while since I've been over to the Mesa Amphitheater. I think the last show I saw over there was when I took my daughter and several of her friends to see Sheryl Crow.
Took one for the team, did you?
Yes, I did.
I like Sheryl Crow. It's just
the
group of gals, they were probably keeping you occupied. In the air to right field. Marte drifting out there. Sousa's got it. And Robbie Ray has retired 12 of the last 13 he's faced. Josh Reddick, the right fielder. Last Houston base hit was Gurriel's RBI single in the first. Robbie's only given up 2 hits tonight. He's walked 3 and struck out 4. D-backs have the shift on. It's funny you mentioned the 5-man infield the other day. You've got Mark Carlson, the second base umpire, out there wearing a black shirt. And it looks like a tremendous shift here, but actually the guy in the middle is the umpire. Look out there and go, oh, what kind of goofy alignment is this? What are they doing? No, that's
too many men on the field. Throw a flag.
Mark Carlson there, yeah. I mean, they really think that he's going to hit it over there.
Great plans to the black top. He fits right in.
Doesn't he, though? 0-2 on Reddick. Swing and a miss. And big breaker for Robbie, gets his 5th strikeout. You know, his curveball and slider look remarkably similar. Sometimes it's really hard to tell the difference.
It's just a matter of the velocity. The curveball's a little slower, the slider a little bit harder. Curveball has more of a round break to it. The slider's a little sharper and later.
George Springer, the leadoff man, has singled and scored a run. Pitch count for Robbie, pretty good shape right now. About to throw number 70 with 2 outs in the 5th. He's had plenty of starts this year when he's been in the hundreds in the 5th inning with his pitch count. That got to be an issue. Much better here tonight. Slider right there. See that quick 6-pitch second really helped out after a long first when Houston got him for 2 runs. 10-pitch third. He's thrown 8 so far in the 5th. Labored through that 4th, had a 10-pitch at bat before he lost Correa to a base on balls. And then struck out White, the following batter, on a 3-2 pitch. Fastball missed away, 2-1. George Springer was down for a while last month. He had a left thumb sprain. Came back August 17th. 19 games off the DL. He's hit .320.
Besides that left thumb sprain that put him on the DL, he had a left quad issue that put him on the bench for 6 games as well. It didn't require a DL stint, but he did miss nearly a full week of games.
Yeah, he's 28. He'll be 29 in less than a week. He's at that point where, as hard as he plays, he may have to start pulling back just a little bit. He's a guy who'll dive through walls for you. Couldn't check on the breaking ball, and it's full 3-2. Got fooled that time by the slider. Well, that looks like the kinds of swings that Patrick Corbin gets with his slider.
Good point.
Looks just like a fastball, and by the time they realize it's not a fastball, it's just too late. Altuve on deck. 3-2 to Springer. Skied it. Mathis will have a look, but it's out of play. Two runs, 5 hits for the D-backs. They've left 6. 2 runs, 2 hits for Houston. They've left 2. I'm going to go through the whole thing again. Someone out there in Torchy's Tacos maybe looking at something they shouldn't be. And it happened again. Big strikeout for Robbie Ray. Still tied at 2.
Some catcher down at third base on this day back in 1986, and it did not go well.
This should be a national holiday.
I'm sure Mike Lacoste would agree with you. He was the pitcher at the time when I made the 4 errors in 1 inning.
But All's well that ends
Yeah,
well. A home run that won it. 1 of 2 that day, right?
Yeah, hit a home run earlier in the ball game to put us on the board. I got a bases loaded single to drive home 2 and tie the game, and then with 2 outs and nobody on in the bottom of the 9th, see you later. Boom! Just like you draw it up.
One of my favorite days of the year. Steven Souza Jr. leads off the 6th against Dallas Keuchel. Souza has walked and grounded out. What has been that's just part of your legacy as a player and a manager over the course of a long and distinguished baseball career. But what do people still ask you about that all these years later?
I get letters from ministers around the country that say they use that as inspiration to their congregation, Sunday sermons.
Come on.
No, over the years I've gotten numerous letters from people that speak to groups, motivational speakers and the like.
Do you want ministers telling their congregations don't do what Bob Brenly does?
No,
That's something
they
we might need to look at.
To persevere like I did that day.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, see? And I've told the story a billion times, but I had to borrow.
Souza drives one to right. Reddick is there. And he makes a tremendous running catch. How did that not get over his head? Souza hit it to almost the deepest part of the ballpark.
Boy, Reddick was starting to look like David Peralta in Colorado the other day. David got fooled by a line drive hit right at him, and this one looked like it fooled Reddick. What a recovery at the very end. He had to look in his glove to see if he caught it. And speaking of gloves, that was the tail end of that story. I had to borrow a glove from our utility infielder, Brad Wellman, to play third base that day.
That wasn't you. None of it was your fault then.
So after the day's over, as you get another look at that great play by Reddick out there in right field, I went to his locker and handed him the glove, and he said, "I don't want it now." It's ruined.
Burn that thing. Ahmed doubled to left center his last time. I know if you have the computer handy and you go to YouTube, there's about a 2.5, 3 minute long bit narrated by Bob Costas that summarizes that day for you. One of the more remarkable days in modern baseball history.
It really was. And it was one of those days, obviously this time of year. I'm sure it was a Saturday game because we didn't even have the regular WTBS broadcast crew on our game. They were doing a football game somewhere. I think there was about 11,000 people at Candlestick Park that day, and at least 100,000 people have come up to me and said they were there that day.
Funny because I feel like we just had the time that you caught the ball stuck in Kruko's glove when you were playing first base. That seemed like it was only 2-3 weeks ago.
I was always around crazy things.
Put Brenly on the corners and sit back and watch what happens.
Wait till you see this. The only real upsetting part to me personally is there was a time very early on in my career I was a pretty good third baseman in the minor leagues, but it had been a long time since I'd been at third base, as I showed.
That's when you had your own third baseman's mitt. Again, it just goes back to faulty equipment failure, really. There you go. 3-1 on Nick. You've got Ketel Marte on deck. Keichel's pitch count starting to get up there just a bit, right around 90 so far, with 1 out in the 6th.
Yeah, just as you say that, some bodies starting to move around in that Houston bullpen out in right center field.
Here it comes on 3-2. He missed inside. 4th walk issued by Dallas Keuchel. Fans D-backs season tickets for 2019 on sale right now, and you can design your own plan. You can choose from a full season ticket package, go for a half a season. Different series or weekend season ticket plans are available as well. And you'll guarantee seats for some big series like the Yankees games and opening weekend, the home opener this year against Michael Brenly's Red Sox. Log on now, dbacks.com. 2019 season tickets on sale right now. Marte 0 for 2. Should be a Pretty decent matchup for Ketel Marte in that he can hit from the right-hand side of the plate. He's batting .314 right-handed this year, .220 lefty. And 6 of his 10 homers have come as a right-hand batter. Some of his left-handed bats lately have been going to Daniel Descalso, because the disparity has grown so great for Ketel this year. Michael misses again. Maldonado wants a word. Bullpen will get busy for Houston, as Bob mentioned a moment ago. The right-hander, the veteran right-hander, Joe Smith, the 3-8. Caught Maldonado on the hand, it looked like. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oh, chest. Better there than the hand.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Mathis learned last year. Marte. And a miss.
It just didn't look like Keuchel was too willing to throw a fastball in the strike zone that time to Ketel Marte. Ultimately gets him to chase that slider in the dirt.
Mathis has grounded out and walked tonight.
One thing you notice on the Astros media notes today, their home record 40 and 32, 8 games over 500, very respectable. They're 52 and 22, however, on the road, 30 games over. That's tough to figure.
They have been beatable here at Minute Maid Park this year. It's always a relative term, of course. They do have a winning home record, but if you look at some of the batting averages, a lot of their key guys hit much better away from this ballpark. Some of the home road splits are jarring for some of A.J. Hinch's top hitters. That one's fouled away. Yeah, it's really hard to explain. You wonder what the problem is. Like Altuve, take him as an example. Jose Altuve, a great hitter. He's the reigning league MVP, in fact. He's hitting about .280 here at home, but he's over .350 on the road. And they have several guys like that. Upstairs with a fastball. Mathis ahead, 2 balls and 1 strike. Keuchel approaching 100 pitches. Joe Smith continues to warm up in the Houston bullpen. Got the leadoff man A.J. Pollock on deck. Dodgers continue to lead at St. Louis. It's still 1-0. Colorado at San Francisco later tonight. Puig's home run for LA, still the only run in that ball game. Buehler against Flaherty.
Another game with wild card implications. The Pirates just tied up the Brewers in the top half of the 5th inning, 3-3.
Strikes out Mathis with that changeup and strands the 1-out walk. Still tied at 2. whole gang. And starting in week 4, Fox will be the new network home of Thursday night football. And the schedule on Fox this year is loaded up with big, cannot miss matchups. One after the other. Thursday night football comes to Fox in week 4. Now it's a game. Remember those great Monday night football matchups at the Astrodome? Earl Campbell and Dan Pastorini. Jose Altuve leads off the bottom of the 6th against Robbie Ray. Robbie has retired 5 in a row and 14 of the last 15 batters he's faced. Houston has only 2 hits in the ball game and none since the first inning. Robbie has walked 3 tonight and struck out 6. Altuve's walked and grounded out. Robbie got off to a very rocky start. The first 4 Houston batters reached. Springer singled. He walked Altuve and Bregman. Gurriel had an RBI single. And since then, the Astros do not have a base hit. He's retired 14 of 15 ahead of Altuve 1 and 2. Robbie's only given up 4 runs in his last 4 starts. And he's been outstanding again tonight. Fastball velocity has been good once again. He's had more luck getting that fastball inside to these right-hand hitters. Curveball continues to be a big-time swing and miss pitch for him, especially to end at bats like one right here. Exactly the formula that's worked for him. That time the slider fouled away. .80 pitches, 52 strikes. Robbie has never won in this ballpark. 0-1 in 2 career starts here. That's foul. Behind Gary Pettis, coaching in third. Gary Pettis in his day, boy, could he run.
Oh, yeah. And a familiar face on the other side of the field, former D-back Alex Cintrone, the first base coach for the Astros for the last couple of years. Of course, he played 5 years with the Diamondbacks, bounced around from the White Sox, the Orioles, the Nationals. Yeah, he had kind of a position they created for him. He was like the translator for the Latin players to translate the advance report so they could understand what was being talked about.
Under the chin of Altuve. It's full 3-2. That can't be a good feeling at 95 miles an hour.
I was going to say something snarky. Underneath the chin of Altuve at the bottom of the knees. I mean, on most players. He gets it all the time from his teammates, so I feel like it's open game.
Here it is on 3-2. Boy, Mathis going through a long sequence there. Here it is. And slider got away. That's his 4th walk tonight. Leadoff man aboard to start the 6th. Here comes Bregman. So Robbie has now walked at least 4 batters 6 times in his last 9 starts. Bregman walked back in the first. He's 0 for 1. Oh, they're saying he's been hit by a pitch. They take away the base on balls. See exactly where this hit him.
Oh yeah, just skipped off that front leg and still into the mid of Jeff Mathis.
He's explaining. Just darted in on me, man. Goldie's getting her mouth full down there. Robbie's starting to miss a little bit. The command, the control, getting away just a tick here as he approaches 90 pitches. There's that quick move over the first. Good location right there. 1 and 2.
That's a ground ball waiting to happen. That slider, middle of the plate, down. So many times it looks like a fastball to an opposing hitter, but if you swing at that one, that's a 6-4-3 waiting to happen.
Bregman is a really tough out right now. Last 30 games, he's hit .375. Fastball in the seats. In fact, Bregman this year already 50 doubles, 100 RBIs, and 100 runs scored. He's only the second player in Astros history ever to do that. In the same season, Lance Berkman, the big Puma, did it back in 01. Remember, Altuve does not run the way he used to. He's had that sore right knee for a while. Had him on the DL just last month. "15 stolen bases this year. He's had at least 30 the last 6 years. So that knee problem has slowed him down a bit. Bregman lays off, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Archie Bradley starts to get loose. Archie, right now, his role is a little bit earlier in the ball game than we're used to. That bullpen has gone through several shakeups in the last few weeks. Brad Ziegler's been getting the at-bats and the outs that Archie was getting earlier. Pitch number 90 from Robbie Ray coming up. Fastball is low and it's full. It's just not quite commanding things the way he was earlier in the ball game.
Keep in mind it's the 3rd time through the Astros order, so they've seen the high fastball, they've seen the hard slider. Some of the Astros hitters have seen the slow curveball. Now it's just a matter of executing those pitches and keeping them out of the middle of the plate.
This is Robbie's 3rd consecutive 3-2 count. Struck out Springer to win the 5th, walked Altuve to start the 6th, and now it's full on Bregman. Altuve holds it first. Can't put him away just yet.
Just gets a piece of that one. Talking to people with the Astros, they say Bregman is very similar to former D-back Brandon Drury in that he's a ballpark rat. He's the first guy here. If you hear somebody banging away in the cage, it's probably Bregman getting some extra hitting in. He's out here taking ground balls. He just loves to be around a ballpark.
Bregman was the second overall pick in the draft, the same year that the Diamondbacks took Dansby Swanson first overall. Bregman out of LSU. He's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Here it is again on 3-2. Altuve still holds, and Bregman fouls off another one. Third ball that time. That's been the big put-away pitch for Robbie lately. That two-strike curveball has been very effective for him. And now Mathis goes out to have a word. Ahmed joins. Houston still with only 2 hits in the ball game, and none since the first inning. This is punch to left for Peralta. 1 down in the 6th. Robbie wins the battle.
A lot of reaction from the crowd here at the ballpark. They've seen enough cheapies fly into those Crawford boxes. Any fly ball hit that direction, you're going to get a reaction from the crowd.
Well, you don't want to be too snarky about it, but cheapy is not inaccurate. And that's going to be it for Robbie Ray. Here comes Torey Lovullo. Archie Bradley warming up with the bullpen. He'll get the right-hander when we come back. Two hits. He's responsible for Jose Altuve at first here in the 6th inning. The flight crew is here with us. They take great care of us as we travel all over the country. You can follow the race to the postseason on MLB.tv. $25.99 lets you watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Check out MLB.tv to take advantage of this limited time offer. Here's Archie Bradley. The Oklahoma native, this is about as close to broken arrow as Archie can get his 70th appearance of the year.
Archie last pitched a couple days ago in Colorado, just came in to get one batter. One quick out through 2 pitches, and that's the last time we saw Archie on the mound.
Well, it's the right time to bring him in. You've got 2 tough right-hand outs coming up, and Gurriel and Correa behind him. Altuve at first and 1 out. We were talking earlier about getting asked about Nick Ahmed a lot. What are you seeing from Archie Bradley these days? What have we seen the last couple of weeks?
I mean, to generalize a lack of command, a lot of fastballs right in the middle of the plate. And the inability to command that curveball consistently or even throw it consistently. You know, at times he's been reduced to being a 1-pitch guy, and if you can't command that 1 pitch on the corners and teams recognize that you're not throwing your curveball as much as you used to, they're just going to sit on that fastball.
Well, he's ahead of Yuli Gurriel, 0-2. Altuve takes off for second. This is popped up behind the bag. Ahmed drifting out there. 2 down in the 6th. So Archie gets Gurriel. Now he'll deal with Carlos Correa. Correa has hit into a double play that scored a run. He walked his last time up in the 4th against Robbie Ray. Houston still with only 2 base hits. Correa lately, when he does make contact, a lot of weak contact. His rate of hard hit balls has plummeted this year, mostly because of that continued lower back problem. Correa went on the DL at the end of June. He missed about 40 games with that back issue. And in 29 starts since he came off the DL just over a month ago, he's only had 3 extra base hits. So he's just not been the same guy up there this year that we saw last year.
Well, anybody that's ever had back issues, you know, those tough to live through, let alone play through. I mean, other than the catching position, that shortstop, he moves on every play. You're either going out to get in a cut position, backing up, fielding ground balls, whatever it is, you're moving all the time. And if you've got a bad back, that's going to take its toll on your offensive game.
And then there's the things that everybody deals with, the bus rides and the plane rides and everything. I mean, they make it as comfortable for you as they can in the big leagues, but that's still tough on the back as well.
Sleeping in a different bed with different pillows every 3 days.
Yeah. Popped him up. Almost the same spot. AJ coming in this time. Archie Bradley gets 2 big outs. It stays tied at 2.
So that's 2 solid appearances now for Archie, guys. I talked to him the other day. I said, how do you get your confidence back? I said, do you remind yourself about what you've done the last year and a half? He said, absolutely. Have to remember I'm that guy. I can be dominant. We saw that with the fastball there on those 2 last batters, guys. The other thing that he said was more philosophical. He said he talks to himself rather than listening to himself. And that's kind of something you hear from a lot of people in different walks of life. And it just means blocking out the negative. And if you're talking to yourself, you're more like adding the positives, feeding yourself positives. And then the other thing he told me, he just wants to get back and help the team. He wants to get to the point where he can be effective every time, guys.
Well, they were certainly effective there, Jody, getting, as you mentioned, 2 good right-hand hitters in Gurriel and Correa to strand that leadoff hit batter. And now a new pitcher on for the Astros, the right-hander Joe Smith to face A.J. Pollock as we start the 7th, still tied at 2. It was 2-2 after 1 inning, and we've stayed that way ever since. Here's the numbers on Joe Smith. See that opponent batting average. He's been one of the best in business in that regard. That stays fair at third for Bregman.
The D-backs home run tonight means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Well, let's see. Each team had 2 runs on 2 hits in the first inning. Since then, the D-backs have had 3 hits. The Astros have had none. Escobar has walked, grounded out, flied out. He's 0 for 2. Now Escobar gets to spin around and bat from the left-hand side against Joe Smith. Now that Dallas Keuchel is out of there, and that's his better side. Former D-back great Tony Sipp, the left-hander, starts to warm up at the Astros bullpen. Hector Rondon, the right-hander. They have the overshift on the right-hand side against Escobar. 16 of his 21 homers this year come as a left-hand batter. Smith got that one in there. That's his fastball right there. Just didn't get the call from Scott Barry. Now Escobar is up 3-1. That sinker down and away. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Goldie on deck. There's a 1-out base runner. 5th base on balls drawn by a D-back hitter tonight.
Drop down sidearm delivery just pulls that ball off the inside corner of the plate. Good at bat that time by Escobar to draw the base on balls, set it up for Goldie.
Well, Escobar walked in the first. Goldie doubled. The ball got stuck in the wall out there in left center. And then both runners came in on Peralta's 2-run single. That's been all the scoring so far. That was back in the first. There's the strike. Goldie coming off an 0 for 4 yesterday afternoon in Denver. Makes it safely in 13 of his last 15 games. Slides that breaking ball in there, jumps ahead 0-2. Slider from Joe Smith. Left it out over the plate a little more than he would have liked, but got the call. And oh, he just did get a piece of that one. That one's a much bigger, wider slider from Smith. That's a
just got a piece of it. If he was using a 34-inch bat instead of a 34.5, he probably swings and misses right there.
Boy, Goldie, the way he drives the ball to right center field, there's a lot of room out there. Escobar might have a chance to score from first if Goldie can poke it to right center. In between Springer and Reddick. Instead, he pulls it toward the Crawford boxes. That gets to the wall. Escobar gets to third. He'll stop there. And Goldie's got his second double tonight. Well, this is what happened in the first. Escobar walked and Goldie doubled.
Well, he had the gap in right center, but the pitch said hit me to left. Another hanging slider that stayed over the inside part of the plate. Goldie bangs it down into that corner. And once again, that short left field fence. No chance to score from first base in this ballpark. In some ballparks, you might take a chance.
Here comes A.J. Hinch. That's it for Joe Smith. D-backs in a 2-2 ball game have runners at second and third with one out. Tony Sipp on his way in. On TV. Stream them live on your mobile device. Use Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you locally by your Valley Honda dealer. Download the free app and take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. David Peralta up there, runners at second and third. Here's former D-back Tony Sipp. Sipp, it ain't easy. He has pitched scoreless baseball in 22 of his last 25 appearances, on to face David Peralta in a big spot. Peralta has singled twice. He's 2 for 3. Both those base hits against lefty Dallas Keuchel. It's an odd twist. This is the way the first inning went. Same as the seventh. A.J. led it off, made it out. Escobar walked. Then Goldie doubled. And here's Peralta. Peralta in the first came through with that 2-run single. Ouch, that one got Maldonado 0-2. Altuve is in on the grass at second.
On that left foot. Spun him around, but right away asked for a new ball from the home plate umpire Scott Barry. Said, let's play on.
Now with 2 strikes, Altuve backs up just a little bit. He was several steps in on the grass a moment ago. Now slides over toward that second base bag. Springer in center, a couple of steps over toward left center. Here's the 0-2. David able to lay off.
I don't know if you noticed Martin Maldonado right there. After giving his signs to Tony Sipp, he gave a real high target. And then as Sipp got ready to deliver, he slid out on the outside corner low and away, trying to decoy if the runner at second base. Goldie is relaying anything at all to David Peralta. Maybe he's a high fastball. That's the only pitch you throw up in the zone is a high fastball, and then slide out on that outside corner and throw the slider instead.
Glove going up there again. Go back outside again. Well, he was lucky to block that one. That was way out there. Slider got away from Sipp, and it's 2-2.
Pretty nice stop by Maldonado that time. Hey, you can't really be too selective with 2 strikes. You've got to be ready to protect that plate. But I think David Peralta would be thinking opposite field right here. Tony Sipp is not overpowering with his heater. David would probably be able to fight off a fastball in if Sipp came inside, but I got to believe he's going to continue to work him away here. And we know David has good opposite field pop.
He's got 7 home runs against left-handers this year. David's hit the ball really well here. This is his 7th career game, and he's got 10 hits, all singles. Astros have used up half of their allotted mound visits so far. David's 2-run single in the first. RBIs number 79 and 80 on the year for him. He's got Escobar at third, Goldie at second, and 1 out. Got him. And back to the slider. 2 down.
Middle of the plate, but down that time.
A.J. Hinch is not going to let Sipp face the right-hand batting Christian Walker. So we'll take another break. Still tied at 2. Back after this. Also will face Hector Rondon. Second and third, 2 out, tied up at 2 in the 7th. Descalso hits for Walker. the DH. Daniel, 244 and 12 homers. Rondon, the third Houston reliever here in the 7th. Fastball to strike 0-1. Descalso, 40 plate appearances as a pinch hitter. He's batting .294 with a homer in this role. .98. A strike on our radar, but 1-1, a ball, says Scott Berry. Correa, the shortstop, up the middle, almost right behind Goldie, the runner at second. Another fastball, just about the same spot, swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Second and third, 1 out, and get a run across. We stay tied at 2. Deep in the heart of Texas, 7th inning stretch here at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, Jody Jackson with you. Our Gila River game summary. We were tied 2-2 after 1, and we're still tied at 2 here in the bottom of the 7th as Tyler White leads it off against Archie Bradley. Late time granted, requested by Jeff Mathis there. Archie came on in relief of Robbie Ray and got Gurriel and Correa to end the 6th. Back out there to start the 7th. It's White, Gonzalez, and Maldonado due up for the Astros. White so far has flied out, struck out 0 for 2, the DH.
What was that?
That was a scud.
I was just talking about the way Jeff Mathis reacted to it. It was almost like he was crossed up. Watch Jeff. He jumped out of the way. He thought that ball was going to explode or something.
Well, we got these long sequences even with no base runners, and that's going to require a mound visit. Something went wrong there. I think that was supposed to be a curveball.
Boy, just watch the way Jeff Mathis reacts to this pitch. Whoa! This caught him by surprise. He was obviously expecting something else, and they're going to get it straight out there on the mound right now. Well, you can have a little laugh about it when it runs the count to 1-0, but if that happens later in the at-bat with some runners on base, or later in the inning rather with some runners on base, that would not be good. So get it straight right now. Good job.
Yeah, you don't want to make a mistake against Tyler White. We've mentioned he's been red hot. He's hit just under .330 in his last 20 games. Center, Peralta's on the run, and he can't get it. A.J. right there to back up. White digs for second, and he's in there with a double. We talked about how much room there is in the gaps in this ballpark. Peralta almost got there.
Yeah, David has to play Tyler White as a dead pull hitter because he is a dead pull hitter, but he scoots this one out toward the gap in left center. Nice diving attempt by Peralta. Not so sure if AJ gets a throw on line right here, they might have a chance to get White at second base, but it pulled Marte way to the shortstop side of the bag. White in safely with that leadoff double.
That's just the Astros' third base hit in the ball game, and their first since Gurriel's RBI single in the first. And here's Marwin Gonzalez. Jake Marisnick comes in to run for White. Gonzalez 0 for 2. First time tonight that Marwin Gonzalez has batted from the left-hand side. He's a very balanced switch hitter. But in terms of the power, you can see he's much more dangerous from the left-hand side.
Yeah, just in case you're wondering, Marwin Gonzalez has put down 4 sacrifice bunts this season. The Astros don't like the sac bunt as a general rule.
They're considered a very sabermetrically inclined team. In the world of sabermetrics, bunt is literally a 4-letter word. Pretty good pitch right there. Didn't get it from Scott Berry. Call on that one. Wow. All right. So we end up in the same place we would have, 2-1.
Scott Berry, come on. I mean, we'll take that, but good Lord, how do you miss pitches in the zone so badly and then call that a strike? Every night.
Bouncer to second. Marisnick will get third as they retire Gonzalez. So Gonzalez hits it to the right side. They move the go-ahead run along. And I think they're going to hit for Maldonado here with Tony Kemp. The catcher Maldonado is due up. The number 8 hitter instead, it's the diminutive Tony Kemp who will bat from the left-hand side. He homered in his last game Tuesday, their win at Detroit. 5'6", 165. He looks up to Altuve. He's got the go-ahead run at third with 1 out. The infield comes in for the Diamondbacks. Ball fouled back.
And I think think that's a common mistake a lot of teams make against the Astros and Tony Kemp. This little guy just throwing fastballs up and out over the plate. He's got some sock in his bat. A lot of times you just take a little guy for granted. Just throw it up and out over the plate, let him hit a fly ball, we'll get the out. Well, first of all, you don't want a fly ball right here. I think Archie ought to throw him some curveballs here if he can.
Kemp is a very selective hitter. He's not a guy that goes up there chasing pitches. He's walked nearly as often as he struck out this year. Here's a look at the way they line up against him defensively. Fastball right by him at 95, and it's 1-2. Archie trying to rediscover that late life on his fastball that seems to have gone missing lately.
He may be a little guy, but he takes a big man swing. The uppercut on that hack.
Great heat.
Kemp realizes he just missed a cookie. There's a two-strike fastball right down the middle.
You saw where Mathis wanted it. He wanted that ball up. Archie really missed his spot that time, but got away with it. Rolling those dice again. Cracking that safe. Brad Ziegler starts to get loose. 2-2 to Tony Kemp. He did not go, says Paul Nart. And it's a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Josh Reddick is the on-deck hitter.
Good curveball that time from Archie. The one he threw earlier in the sequence, it's in the strike zone to begin with, but the one he threw earlier in the sequence just didn't really take the break like the last one did.
Got him. Went back to that fastball, up and away. Out number 2.
A good job of finally getting that fastball up there to the top of the zone where Jeff Mathis wanted it throughout the at-bat. Fouled off the first one. That's the curveball that just didn't take the break. Comes back with another fastball down, another fastball middle. Big fastball up and out of the zone. That was a curveball. It should have been called strike 3, and then punches him out with an under 96-mile-an-hour heater.
Those last 2 really good pitches. Reddick struck out and popped up against Robbie Ray. Ahmed, the shortstop, almost right behind the bag at second, so the infield shaded over toward the first base side against Ray. Off the plate at 97. Reddick has gone ice cold down the stretch for Houston. He's only had 4 base hits in September. Batting 9th. Dodgers have a 2-0 lead at St. Louis. Rockies and Giants scoreless, just underway in San Francisco. Here in Houston, it's 2-2. Another fastball. Archie ahead, 1-2. Got 2 outs to end the 6th. Trying to strand the leadoff double in the 7th. Risnick, the go-ahead run down there, 90 feet away.
Jake Marisnik doing everything he can do to try to distract Archie over there at third base, with Escobar playing way off the line as the pitch was delivered. Marisnik was about a third of the way to home plate, jockeying back and forth trying to get Archie to balk.
2-2 fastball is low, and he's run it full. George Springer on deck. Ziegler warming up in the bullpen. He went 3-2 on Kemp and punched him out. Now here's the 3-2 to Reddick. Missed away.
Off that outside corner. We've seen worse pitches called strikes today, but clearly out of the strike zone.
So Orlavello is going to go to the Brad Ziegler well once more. We're tied up in the 7th in Houston. Get another run on a pass ball, and LA right on the Rockies' heels, second in the NL West, bottom 8 lead the Cardinals 2-0. Rockies just underway in San Francisco. Archie Bradley got 2 outs in the 7th, responsible for 2 base runners, and on to face the leadoff man George Springer is Brad Ziegler, who has been sensational lately in the D-back bullpen. Every time they've needed a critical out, he has been the man. And we're in that spot again with Marisnik at third, Reddick at first, and 2 outs, tied 2-2 in the 7th. Springer singled and struck out twice against Robbie Ray.
Brad Ziegler has been so good lately about the only thing you worry about when Brad is on the mound is contact, hit the ball on the ground, but not at a defender. He rarely gives up fly ball outs. He rarely walks anybody, but he does give up a ton of ground balls. You just hope it's hit at a defender.
Reddick got a big jump. No throw from Mathis. And he sneaks into second. and a strike on Springer. Yes, he went, says Carlos Torres, and it's 2-2.
With the naked eye, it looked like he went farther that time. It looked like the bat got a little farther out in front of home plate.
It's full. Altuve would be next. Astros hitters have now worked 3 consecutive 3-2 counts. And they're on their feet at Minute Maid Park. Called strike 3. He got him. Brad Ziegler does it again. He comes in and strands 2, and we stay tied at 2. Ring him up and sit him down. Isn't it?
Well,
Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing pool play of the game.
He just has a lot of confidence in his stuff. He's been around long enough, and he knows if he executes his pitches and keeps that slider out of the middle of the plate, keeps the sinker down, he's not going to get hurt too badly.
He stranded 2 big runs, sends us to the 8th, still tied at 2. Brian McCann takes over behind the plate for Houston after they hit from Maldonado, and Steven Souza Jr. leads it off for the Diamondbacks against Hector Rondon. Skies one foul behind the Astros dugout. Giants have taken a 2-0 lead in San Francisco over the Rockies. Dodgers still lead 2-0 at St. Louis. Diamondbacks 2 runs, 6 hits, they've left 9. Astros 2 runs, 3 hits, they've left 5. Boy, Souza's made a lot of loud contact lately. Out to the outfield. Had a couple of hits yesterday at Coors Field. Tripled and scored a run. Lined out deep to right center his last time up. Lays off that fastball upstairs. 2-2. Souza, Ahmed, Marte. 6, 7, 8 due up here in the 8th. There is action in the Houston bullpen. It's full. Scott Berry didn't give him the call that time. How far out McCann had to reach just to catch this ball. I mean, you couldn't even frame that and make it look good. Nick Ahmed has doubled and walked. I'm telling you, I have Ahmed hitting one into the Crawford boxes before we leave here Sunday.
Oh, I thought you were calling it right now.
No, I feel confident. Right, a breaking ball in there, got the strike call.
Hard slider at 86.
Nick had a couple of hits yesterday against the Rockies. He doubled and drove in a run. Another slider.
Another one at 85. Well, this meeting at the mound right here was called for by the pitcher. He's probably asking him, hey, did you know that anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
I'm betting that Taco Bell is much better than Torchy's Tacos, which is out in center field here.
Well, we're getting an argument from the locals.
Yeah, some Torchy fans in the house. Ahmed just got a piece. Torchy's Tacos has a big setup out there in deep center field. That's way back there. Here it is. But some nice seating out there. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Got a bar area, taco stand, some club boxes. Taco Bell's better. I don't know.
Well, it's always better after the D-backs score 5 runs.
Well, yeah. This one's trying to get down, and it drops into right center. Ahmed digging for second, gonna have to hustle, and he's in there. Nick Ahmed, his second double tonight. That's his 3rd double in the last 2 games.
Well, that's a key base running play by Nick Ahmed as well. He shoots that ball out into the gap in right center. Josh Reddick, a really good defender, really good throwing arm. But Nick knows if he makes it to second base, he's in scoring position with only 1 out in the inning, so he was busting it out of that batter's box. A good turn at first base allows him to get in safely at second with 1 out.
Well, the D-backs have stranded 9 base runners today. They had second and third, 1 out in the 7th, and could not get the go-ahead run across. So a chance here for Ketel Marte, who's 0 for 3. Batting from the left-hand side, there's the strike, a fastball. Marte hitting just under 290 since the All-Star break. He had an RBI double against the Rockies yesterday. Took a cut but missed it. It's 0-2. Got Mathis on deck. I don't know what's a strike and what isn't. This is just so inconsistent. That's been a strike all night. I'm glad it wasn't, don't get me wrong, but if you're a hitter, what are you supposed to do? Bounce back to the mound. Ahmed wanders off the bag, gets back in time. Nick started breaking toward third. Rondon thought about it, but they retire Marte for the second out.
That's always a tough play for the base runner at second. You're taught anything hit to your left, it's safe to advance onto third base. But the wild card is if the pitcher makes a defensive play like that, occasionally you get caught out in no man's land. But Nick able to hustle back into the bag at second safely.
And now John Jay is coming off the bench, and Torey Lovullo will pinch hit for Mathis, trying to get that go-ahead run home from second base with 2 outs.
Yeah, running out of outs in the ball game here. You got to take your shots where you get them.
And Brent Strom, the pitching coach, is on his way out to the mound. So Jay will hit for Mathis. While we have a moment, let's take a look at AT&T Park in San Francisco. The Rockies and the Giants. And the Giants strike first. They have a 2-0 lead right now.
Oh, that was Slater that got the base hit up the middle of the field right there to drive home 2.
Yeah, the Rockies leading the division by a 1.5 over the Dodgers, 4.5 up on the Diamondbacks. LA has a 2-0 lead in St. Louis. The game is almost over, bottom 9. So here is Jay with 2 outs and Ahmed at second as the go-ahead run. John Jay, 272 this year, 3 home runs. Hitting for the catcher, Mathis. Well, this in one sense has set up nicely for Torey Lovullo. He had Descalso and Jay on the bench as left-hand pinch hitters. Descalso was up there, second and third, 2 outs in the 7th, and struck out looking against Rondon. And now here's Jay with 2 outs in the 8th. That one is down the line. Fair. It drops in. Ahmed is on his way in. It checks up out there, and Jay will head for third. Here's the throw. It's not in time. An RBI triple, and it's 3-2 Diamondbacks.
Perfectly placed. I mean, it got in on the hands of John Jay, and he just kind of muscled it down that right field line. Notice there's no right fielder in your picture for a long time.
They were shaded way over toward
Way
left.
over toward left.
Springer, the center fielder, look, he's almost near the Crawford boxes out there. It sounded like he broke his bat too.
Yeah, and John Jay didn't start immediately out of the batter's box. I think he thought that ball was going to go foul, but got started enough to make it to third base with an RBI triple.
Here's AJ on the run down there, 90 feet away. Out the slider and swinging a miss. AJ singled in the second. Dodgers have added a run in St. Louis. It's now 3-0 Los Angeles. Rockies trail the Giants 2-0. There is action in the Houston bullpen once again. The right-hander Brad Peacock. Well, he was enormous for them in the postseason last year. Altuve, the second baseman, playing up the middle on the shortstop side of the bag. Gurriel off the base at first, but there's room on the right-hand side. Fastball misses in. No one warming up in the D-back bullpen after Ziegler struck out Springer to end the 7th. So it looks like Ziegler will get Altuve, Bregman, and Gurriel 2, 3, and 4 in the home half of the 8th inning. Ahmed, a 1-out double. Jay, a 2-out triple. 3-2 D-backs. AJ trying to dunk one in there. Here comes Springer. He won't get it. AJ hustles into second. The run is across. It's 4-2. And Pollock fights one off for an RBI. D-backs have a 2-run lead here in the 8th. Second insurance run, but thrown out at second.
I got jammed, hit that little floater out into shallow center field. Heads up play by Jose Altuve going out after the pop-up, and when Springer misses on the diving attempt, Altuve's right there to scoop it up, throw on to Correa to get AJ at second base, but John Jay had already scored. D-backs take a 2-run lead.
Brad Ziegler back out there for the bottom of the 8th inning. He's got his work cut out for him. As Jose Altuve will lead it off for the Astros. John Ryan Murphy takes over behind the plate after Jay hit for Mathis. Altuve sends one to right. Here's Souza. Altuve hitless. Here's Bregman 0 for 2 with a walk. There's pressure on the Astros. They need this one. Oakland won at Tampa Bay 2-1. So a Houston loss would cut their AL West division lead over the A's down to 2.5 games. It's amazing. A.J. Hinch's ball club, they're 10-1 in September. All they do is win, but they just cannot shake Oakland. The A's are really hanging in back there in second place in the AL West. This is out to right. Souza. Oh! He's got it. The late call by Carlos Torres, who wanted to make sure that Souza held on to the ball as he rolled over. Steven Souza Jr.
That ball slicing away and sinking the entire time, and Souza just refuses to give up on it that time. Nice diving attempt. Managed to get that bare hand on top of the baseball and keep it in the glove.
The Astros are going to challenge.
Oh, no, he's got that one.
This may be a what have you got to lose scenario. The Dikembe Mutombo finger wag. Don't you dare challenge me. Bregman's just standing on the bag staring at Souza. So here's crew chief Paul Narca put on the headsets and talk to New York. One more look at Steven Souza Jr. in right field.
Once again, off the bat of a right-handed hitter, that ball slicing away from him and sinking quickly. It's in the glove right there. He gets the bare hand on top of it. Oh, yeah. Ball never touched grass.
Well, like we said, the Astros need this one. Oakland won at Tampa Bay 2-1. The Astros, if you go back to August 21st, they're 17-4. That's baseball's best record over that span, but they just cannot shake the Oakland A's, who refuse to back off. They're fighting Bob Melvins. This is one of the reasons the D-backs went after Steven Souza Jr. He's a plus defensive outfielder. Maybe the part they're looking at is initially when he first hits the ground. That's the only thing that even comes close. But I don't think we've seen anything that would definitively overturn the call, which is what you need. Souza looking behind him on the big board, and he is out. So very quickly, 2 outs here in the 8th. One more look at Steven Souza Jr.
Yeah, for me, the ball never left the glove. It's in the heel of the glove right there. He gets the bare hand on top of it, holds it in his glove as he tumbles around out there in the grass. Good call.
So oddity for Brad Ziegler, 2 key fly ball outs right there. Yuli Gurriel. The Astros still have only 3 base hits in the ballgame. Gurriel has one of them, the RBI single in the first. Their other run scored on a double play ball.
Third hit of the ball game for the Astros was that Tyler White double leading off the 7th. That looked like that was going to be the Astros' best chance to take the lead in this ball game, but Archie Bradley and Brad Ziegler are able to put out that fire.
Bullpen is still quiet. This is Ziegler's ball game at this point. He's in line to get the win after getting the final out of the 7th. Well, he wants no part of Gurriel there, and Correa will hit. Correa 0 for 2. He has walked and hit into a double play that scored a run back in the first. You were talking earlier about how the Astros are 30 games over 500 on the road, only 8 games over 500 here at home. Well, Correa is one of the reasons why he's hitting only about 190 at Minute Maid Park this year. Mike Butcher on the bullpen front. Marisnick is due up next, but Evan Gattis, El Oso Blanco has come out in the on-deck circle. Should Correa reach? That's the DH spot. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yoshi Hirano starts to get loose. Jimmy Sherfy down there as well. 2-2 on Correa. Bullpen busy for the Astros as well. Now a final in St. Louis. The Dodgers have won. They beat the Cardinals 3-0. So that game is over at Busch. Rockies in San Francisco. They trail the Giants 2-0. Full count on Carlos Correa, 3-2. Gurriel the runner at first. Goldie plays behind him. Gurriel takes off up the middle and throw into center. Gurriel heads for third. And the batter will be Evan Gattis.
I talked about it an inning ago. The ground balls against Brad Ziegler. That's usually the only way he gets hurt, when ground balls find holes. And that one just out of the reach of Nick Ahmed.
Well, here is Evan Gattis. He became a Winter League sensation. They started calling him the White Bear, El Oso Blanco. A tremendous right-hand power hitter. 25 home runs. Hitting for Marisnick, the DH. First and third, 2 outs. Curveballs a strike. Gattis, since the end of July, has hit 152. He has slumped badly down the stretch. Tying runs aboard. Go ahead run at the plate. 2 outs. Gurriel is at third. Correa is the tying run at first. Didn't get the call from Scott Berry. Bounced up the middle. Marte's got it. They get the force on Correa. Ziegler sends us to the 9th with a 4-2 lead. set tomorrow. Zach Godley on the mound against Charlie Morton. Diamondback Live pregame show comes your way at 3:30 in the afternoon, Arizona time on Fox Sports Arizona. And then Sunday it's Greinke versus Verlander. How about that? Former D-back great Will Harris is on to start the night. It'll be Escobar, Goldie, Peralta, 2, 3, and 4 due up for the D-backs. 4 runs, 9 hits, 2 runs, 4 hits for Houston. J.D. Davis takes over in left field, replacing Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez stays in the game. He takes over in center, replacing George Springer.
I remember Springer made that diving attempt on the A.J. Pollock ball back there in the 8th inning. Might have hurt himself on the dive.
1-1 on Escobar. Escobar's walked twice, scored a run, 0 for 2. Will Harris has not given up a run in his last 8 appearances for A.J. Hinch. At Cutter.
Yep, cutter mania from Will Harris. Works it on both sides of the plate, low 90s. Just a little bit of cutting action into a left-handed hitter, away from a righty.
Boy, the entire left side of the field is open for Escobar. Not just the infield, but the outfield as well. Davis is over. In fact, he's past the Crawford boxes over toward left center. It's kind of like right field in San Francisco.
Exactly. If a ball's hit down the left field line, it's a sure double anyway. So why protect against a double? Protect that gap where you might have a triple or an inside the park homer.
Ouch. Yeah, even if Escobar were to bang one off the wall out there, there's no way he'd get third unless it took a really crazy hop. But he won't be hopping very well for a while. See how far over Davis is, the left fielder.
And that's the third baseman, Bregman, playing shortstop. So yeah, the entire left side, left of those two guys, is wide open.
Just punch one over there somehow. Get a board for Goldie or Peralta. Diamondbacks need this one. They need them all now. 4.5 back in the division with 15 to play, counting tonight. 4 back in the wild card. They've lost 14 of 20. Last D-back series win, August 21st and 22nd, when they took both from the Angels at Chase Field. And Escobar strikes out. McCann will finish this one off. 1 down in the 9th.
Yeah, with that Dodger win over St. Louis, they're in a flat-footed tie in that wild card race. Brewers are ahead right now late in that ball game against the Pirates, 7-4, so they would maintain their wild card lead.
Goldie the hitter now. He has doubled twice. Here's a look. Closer in the wild card now than in the division. So right now, as Bob mentioned, St. Louis and LA tied at 81 and 67 for that second wild card. Goldie sends it out to center. Gonzalez out there, and he makes it out in ground. Was put out there to replace Springer. Takes a base hit away from Goldie. That might have been his 3rd double tonight. Two down for Peralta, who singled twice. David got the scoring started, a 2-run single in the first. Now 80 RBIs on the year. Bregman, the third baseman, will play in the shortstop spot but come in on the grass. Gonzalez shaded toward left center field. Reddick is way off the line in right. I'm not sure he can see the right field foul pole from where he is. Peralta punches one over there. Davis picks it up, shy of the Crawford boxes. David's third hit tonight. A 2-out single.
Great approach. If they're going to work you away and shift the defense around to the right side of the field, just take what they give you. Slap it through that left side, take the base hit.
So here's Descalso, who was the DH after a hit for Walker in the 7th, and struck out to strand runners at second and third in what was then a tie ball game. And again, Bregman, the third baseman in the shortstop spot, has his toes on the grass down there. And Gonzalez moves back towards center field away from left center. There he is, top of your screen. Yoshi Hirano warming up in the bullpen. 7, 8, 9 due up in the Houston 9th. Gonzalez, McCann, and Reddick. Yoshi trying to bounce back from that loss the other night on the LeMahieu walk-off homer. Descalso hits one pretty deep right center. Gonzalez calls off Reddick. And here we go. Here comes Yoshi with a 4-2 lead. 3 outs to go. And here is Yoshihisa Hirano. 3 days ago, Yoshi got his first major league save after recording more than 150 saves in Japan. And he is only 48 hours removed from the walk-off homer served up to DJ LeMahieu that cost the Diamondbacks a 5-4 loss at Colorado Wednesday night. 1 for 5 in his save opportunities. He'll face the lower third of the Astros lineup. Marwin Gonzalez will lead it off for Houston. Gonzalez tonight 0 for 3. He'll start it off. Dodgers have won 3-0 against St. Louis. Rockies still trailing 2-0 in San Francisco. No shift here for Gonzalez, but Ahmed, the shortstop, plays mostly up the middle, shading near the bag at second. Yoshi starts him out with a splitter up, and Gonzalez swings through it 0-1. Gonzalez, another hitter who does much better away from his home park. He's hitting just .214 at home this year. Another splitter, another strike. It's 0-2. Oh, look at that thing just drop. Ryan McCann is on deck. Base hit. Astros will get the tying run to the plate. Gonzalez a single to lead off the ninth. First at bat tonight for Brian McCann, who's had a tough year at .208 with 5 homers. Only 56 games this year. He's been bothered by a right knee problem all season long. Had to sit out 50 games. He missed all of July and August. D-backs put 3 defenders on the first base side of the infield. Gonzalez not a threat to run. Not in this situation.
As a Diamondbacks infielder, yeah, you have to remind yourself that on a ground ball you've got time. Brian McCann didn't run well before the knee injury. I can't believe he's any quicker now.
Well, good spot for that fastball. Yeah, McCann has only had 20 plate appearances since he came off the DL. Nicely framed by Murphy, but Scott Berry doesn't bite. 1-0. There's a look at the defensive alignment. Lays off a splitter, 2 balls and no strikes. Final in Milwaukee, the Brewers have beaten Pittsburgh 7-4. There's a Tapper foul. Roberto Osuna had a whole bunch of saves on the Astros' last road trip. He's just tossing down there. Yoshi trying to dial up a ground ball right here. Lays off the split. Right here, no one is even close to the Astros in the majors in terms of grounding into double play. Three and one on McCann. He almost hit him. And now Yoshi has brought the winning run to the plate with nobody out. Stassi will run their other catcher. We've seen Maldonado and McCann, and Stassi's the only guy they have, so he runs for McCann. He's the tying run at first. The winning run is at the plate with nobody out. It's Josh Reddick. Reddick is 0 for 2. He walked his last time up against Archie Bradley. Fastballs, a strike on 1.
In seasons past, this would have almost automatically been a sacrifice bunt attempt with nobody out in the inning and 2 runners on base, trailing by 2. Try to get them both into scoring position with 1 out in the inning, but as we mentioned earlier in the ballgame, that's just not part of the DNA of the Houston Astros this year.
Here's your ground ball. Marte, Ahmed, and they turn it. 2 big outs for Yoshi as Gonzalez gets into third.
Taylor made hard ground ball hit right at Marte at second base. A little underhand toss to Nick, and that turns into an easy double play.
Second double play ball turned tonight by the D-backs infield, and now the last man standing for the Astros, tying run at the plate, is J.D. Davis. His first at bat tonight, hitting 176 with 1 home run. There's the splitter. Davis played most of this year with AAA Fresno. Had a big year there. Hit .342 with 17 homers. Big cut at that fastball. Got a pretty hittable one too, and he missed it 0-2.
As close to a quick pitch as Yoshi will get. Occasionally he has a big leg kick with runners on base and kind of slows the hitter down. Other times he'll slide right into that delivery and unload quickly like he did on that last pitch.
A strike away. To third for Escobar. Yoshi Hirano locks down the save, and the D-backs open up the series in Houston with a 4-2 win. Keep in mind, it's right now a 2-0 Giant lead over the Rockies. The D-backs for the moment pick up a half game. They can pull within 3.5 if San Francisco can hang on and beat Colorado. Dodgers 3-0 winners at St. Louis. Needed this one.
Oh, absolutely needed this one in a big way tonight behind Robbie Ray. Bullpen did a real nice job putting zeros on the board, and the offense found a way to score.